but I don't think it's worth it. I'll just save it for permafrost. So I'm gonna go ahead and log over and buy some upgrades on the wizard, because that's kind of what we're using gold for now. So just kind of going through it. Oh, that's the anvil. Just kind of going through it, buying basically every upgrade. So 30k gold. I think we just bought all the spell damage, but we may just buy like crit or crit bonus just to do it. It's actually better here. Spell crit damage. So we were saying spell crit chance seemed to be our issue on our mage, but I mean we had a bot, but he only has 5%. So things that can actually crit. So this can crit, but its primary attack doesn't count as a crit for the skills. It's not a skill, so that doesn't actually crit. I don't use this, so it'll crit, but I won't actually use it, so it doesn't crit. That'll crit, and this is the one that you actually care about critting. And I don't know if the damage over time can crit, but if it can, it's really good to have this critting, because this is the bulk of the damage, at least at the low NGs. So let's go ahead and buy crit chance as much as we can, and crit damage. Alright, so we're looking at our characters now. We have the, oh wow, it was 0.5 mana regen per NG, so that's actually really significant for the sorcerer. I think next up will probably be the wizard. I could spend some ore just to finish upgrading all his items, or not all his items, all his shop stuff. But I will just accrue gold eventually. I think he also needs chapel buffs, so it'd be a lot of ore to do. And I'm thinking the wizard doesn't really have bad mana regen, so I'm probably going to change this to damage, ignore resist, because I'm mainly going to be left clicking. This is going to automatically cast. I'm not going to use this, and this is just going to be like kind of cheesy. I don't really make a habit of using meteor. I'm just going to use it if I can see stuff on the other side of the wall, because I'm playing solo, so it's a little different. Critical damage or skills or mana cost. Mana cost only really helps on this one, but it may be worth it because it's such an expensive skill. What's the cooldown on it? Is there a way to tell? It doesn't say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like maybe 7 or 8 seconds. So I don't even know if I could spend my mana fast enough. We can try it. Alright, so I definitely can, but when you stack on a couple items, I don't even think I can spend this mana that quickly. And you start comboing. So I would say increase damage to skills, ignore enemy resistance, and crit damage of my skills. Yeah, it seems right. Because I'm not completely sold on increased mana and decreased cost, because like I can't even, it's not a spammable skill, and nothing over here seems worth it, so I'd probably go this direction. We can't just do a run anyway, like we don't have to have everything to do the run, so we may just start the run now and we'll get all these upgrades later. Crit on primary attack. Movement speed seems worth it. Most of the damage I'm going to do is from the secondary effect, this combustion, and the scorched earth. So these two together will be the bulk of my damage. So I'm not really interested in scaling this as a priority. Let's go see what our magic resist and everything would look like. So I'm on NG+1. Alright, it's already on there. 53 and 26. It's probably fine. Yeah, let's go ahead. We'll roll the shop. We'll get our items. We'll use our drinks. We'll start the run. We'll see. Oh, that's the wrong one. We'll see how far we can get. I imagine it'll only be to Act maybe 2. Completing Act 2 before I'm gonna call it for tonight. So I'm gonna try to roll for a couple different things. Probably, I think Mage Bane is probably the only thing. If I can get Mage Bane with Robe, that'd be pretty well. Would also take a Scepter of Kings and maybe a 2 Markhams, but that's about it. So there's Scepter of Kings. Curios is just a lot of stats. And then we have a 2-piece potions already. This is kind of on the weekend, but I mean, it's a white item. What do you expect? So 50% more potion effectiveness and movement speed buff. So those are probably the 2 worst ones. This is a really common item. Our potions currently heal for 200 health and 200 mana. So it's never going to help on the health unless we get lots of gear. And the mana part, 50% more would be 300 mana. It's significant, but I rarely use potions just to get mana. Unless I'm on dragon, because then it's kind of a trade-off to go ahead and kill them faster. But I think this is probably fine to get. We may actually craft either Amulet of Kings or King's Chest, just to not take any damage. So we're going to start with this. I like to get around 10 gold keys, 12 silver keys, and probably can get away with 8 bronze keys. It's only saving 200 gold. I probably should get like 10, but we'll just go with this for now. Let's go ahead and craft something before I forget. Amulet of Kings would be pretty good. Let's look at our stats. So we could just kind of cruise through probably the first 4 acts if we do Amulet of Kings. I don't think we're going to have any issues with mana at all. And our damage should be through the roof currently. So, is there anything else worth getting? Let's just check real quick. There's always Ring of Tea, but I don't think I'm going to be taking that kind of damage and for it to be worth it. And I don't think that, so this is just attack power. It doesn't scale the passives, so I think this is not worth getting right now. I would think of getting a defensive item. I'm probably going to go with Amulet. Or no, not, yeah, Amulet of Kings though, not the other amulet, if I can find it. Vengeance is interesting, but I want the upfront stats, so let's go with that. We're pretty much out of gold. I think I can get away with not using Leech on this character. It did work out really well on the last character we did though, with the Leech. It may be beneficial just to have it, so we'll probably go with that. We could try to play a little YOLO, but I don't know if it's worth it. So we can easily take Bruiser because our skill cost doesn't even matter. So we can still do 3 meteors. We're never going to be casting these 2, so just going to be a lot of left clicking. Critical damage on primary, not a big deal. Let's go with Double Thriller. And don't want to mess up our mana at all. I believe attack power. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I want to drink. We'll go with Crimson just in case. I think we'll use Unbalanced. It'll kind of counteract our Amulet of Kings, but it's so much damage. So we have damage, 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 leech, and let's take less damage, and we'll move a little slower, but it'll keep us from dying to Crimson Death. So got a little bit of gold. I think I have enough in the fountain to finish this off. We're not gonna do expanded. Gonna do less trap damage, no traps and corridors, and no towers. We also want glass walks and treasure hunt. So that's all the positives we need. So it's really just making the negatives work out. Enemy reinforcements is fine. We want to get our 5 levels. Since we're not using exceptional, it's always good to use lousy. We also, like I've been saying, we don't really care about our mana. We're not going to be using it that much. Ore is like, I kind of want to keep ore because I want to gain some money off this run, but I may give it up if I have to. Could do Agile. I think we will go with Agile. We'll try it out. We didn't go Agile last time because we were a little afraid, but we'll try it this time and see how it goes. Another good option would have been not do Agile and do no ore. That would have been like maybe a better situation, but I think we have plenty of damage. Agile's not going to be an issue. Yeah, so we one-shot everything, at least for now. So we just need to continue on like this. Make sure we're picking up gold, make sure we're using our corners. Alright, so we got a stone. These aren't really good items, but I have basically no sustain outside of Crimson Death. If I didn't have Crimson Death, it would be a lot more attractive of an item, but it's currently just whatever. I maybe should have Blast Wave a little more. I may do that. Alright, let's go ahead and grab this other trap. I didn't think he would survive that long. So this is a great place to Meteor. So I'm gonna get my attack damage. Do this, and we're just gonna Meteor. Oh, I heard an imp. There it is. If he sends back gold to town, it's gonna be laughable. But everything else should be pretty good. He gave me an item. What did he give me? XP? That's pretty bad, but it's free. Alright, so we're just kiting and leeching. When things start getting a little scarier, we'll play a little slower, but I think for now we can go a little crazy. So this is our ore that we're deciding we need in our run. That was 3? Huh. I don't know if the meteor is going to reach, but we'll try it. Okay. Kill the nest. Do I only have rank 1? Yeah, I only have rank 1. That's why mana's not an issue. So yeah, I may still do the same chapel build. I may change it just to meteor spam. It's up to your personal preference, how you want to play. At least for me. Until I do more testing, I'll say it's personal preference, and then after that, it's going to be like, this is clearly better. The only cases where it should be different is if you're in a group or if you're playing solo. If you're playing in a group, you can get away with either being the designated person that just meteors all the time constantly, and that's when you probably want mana regen and reduce cost, or you're trying to do as much damage as possible. You just go full right side and ignore all the resist, do extra damage, all that kind of stuff. It really depends your setup. Class titles could also come into play. If you have enough sorcerer NG levels, your mana regen will be a lot better, and you can probably get away with changing your chapel bonuses to facilitate higher DPS. Alright, so he's really fast, but he's melee, so as long as you keep moving, there's nothing you can do. So this is probably something that's going to happen a lot this run, where I walk all the way in a corner and then there's no mobs to gaining health back. So we'll grab these apples. I mean, they're 50% effectiveness, but they're something. That one's too far out of the way. Luckily our life pool is so low that Crimson Death doesn't really even affect us. Alright. So we're getting a lot of chests so far.